Morning, and welcome to the Town of Dudley, Massachusetts Economic Development Committee meeting. It is Tuesday morning, January 16th, and it is 10:31. We're going to start our call to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And just a note, the meeting is being recorded, and for anybody, friends joining via Zoom, when you do speak, if you can remember to put your camera on so the rest of the committee members can see you. And thank you very much for joining us. So now, also, we did have minutes taken the last meeting.
Kelsey was going to take minutes.
Yeah. I don't have them with me, but I will.
Okay, not a problem.
So, no minutes.
And then, all right, so next up on the agenda, we have the dialogue with CMRPC, our friends on the Gateway Plan and the Economic Development Planning. You're joining remotely, so thank you very much for joining us. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Bill, I didn't know if you were going to want to share the attachments that I sent or if Victoria should share.
I did copy them and handed them out.
Okay. Can Victoria be given sharing privileges?
Amanda will get to that right away.
Certainly.
Okay. Thank you. So we did make some updates to the survey based on the feedback last time. We can discuss it some more if you like. I just didn't want to put too much time into that, seeing we wanted to get to some other things. Some of the other documents that we sent are a press release, the flyer that we can post in different town departments, as well as some of the local businesses, and then a smaller version of it that would be a half sheet that people can just take with them, as well as it's the survey, the press release, the flyer. Oh, and then after we talk about those items, we'd like to get into placemaking a little bit. And we've started with some ideas, starting with like short-term, easier, technical urbanism type of placemaking ideas, as well as some that are more medium-term and then the long-term ones. But we intentionally didn't want to put too much in there because we want to hear from you what types of things, and they can be broken down by physical improvements as well as programmed activities or events to bring people into town, but we can split those up later. But we want to hear from you when we get to that part about what ideas you think would be appropriate for Dudley. So with that, I don't know, I know I only sent it this morning. I don't know when people had a chance to look at the revised survey.
Yeah, just looking at it right now.
So before we do that, through the chair, so Ricky is now an associate member, right?
Have you been appointed yet, Ricky?
No, that's later this month.
Okay.
Oh, sorry about
Okay.
that. I was gonna say you should come and join us.
Right, yeah.
All right.
Good point.
You probably still can, but I don't know, I don't
Sure.
know what the.
Yeah, please. Love it if you joined us right over here, Ricky. Thank you. But just taking a couple of seconds to go through the updates to the survey itself. It seems like everything that we covered the last meeting was updated. Does anybody see, other members of the committee see anything?
And this is how it downloads as a PDF, and this is the copy we would put in different public places as well as some businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I also sent a link to the survey website so you can see what it would look like to people taking it. It's, you know, full color. It's a little bit different, but basically the same.
Yeah, unless anyone else has any comments, it looks great to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Maybe we could go with the flyer next, Victoria.
Good.
do this one.
Okay.
One of the things I wanted to ask about is, do you want the contact information to just be us, or do you want any inquiries coming to Bill as well?
Well, I mean, I can speak as my first name, my name is the top one on the contacts as the chairman. I just,
Yeah.
like, if somebody needed to contact me directly, I mean, they would need a little bit more information than that, or, you know, I mean, I have no
Okay. I
problem
didn't
if they're
know if
gonna
you wanted-
contact me via my email, but, you know, my email is
Okay.
my bank email where I work. So I don't
Okay.
know if, you know, if there's, and I believe Robin, Dr. Fracall had mentioned that I believe she had said that she would be a point of contact as well at the last meeting. So,
Oh, okay.
but I would just, because if anybody did in fact want to contact us, I mean, is there a way, and forgive me, I should probably know this, on our site at the town, is there a place where people can, you know, is there an email or contact information there? Does anybody?
I forget. I might be the contact.
Okay.
On the website. I'm not sure if it's actually there. Jane, you could put me up top if you want and put down my email address there.
Okay.
Maybe move Todd
And
down.
I'm happy to answer any inquiries. I just didn't know if you wanted me to include your information as well.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, thank
Maybe
you.
you should take Todd off, you know. Todd probably shouldn't be
Yeah, I
fielding questions on the survey.
exactly. I think
Yeah.
the fact we have a planner, let's capitalize on that. He's the expert that we're relying on for a lot of things.
And just in case, if, I mean, you know,
Perfect.
the hope is that we do get a decent amount of, you know, feedback or some feedback, and if it's just, you know, I would be, hopefully it wouldn't get lost in my own, you know, email at work, but I think that's probably the better way to do it. Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. So it's just a basic press release that the town has, the town has completed several studies, including the Economic Development Plan, the Webster Dudley 2020 Corridor Plan, and is now working on the Open Space Plan, and how all of these plans kind of point towards revitalizing this part of town that we are now referring to as the Gateway area, with a brief description of what that is. That the town is working, Economic Development Committee, the planner, are working with CMRPC on getting this plan done, and we want to hear from the public, so that a survey has been developed to request the opinions of anyone who lives, works, goes to school, or owns a business in Dudley, and all are invited to participate. So if they click on the link, then they're going to see the map as well. So hopefully that will help if they needed any more clarification on exactly what the area is. Is there anything you'd like changed or added to the press release?
Just, you know,
Do
go
people
ahead.
know how to use a QR code? Should there be instructions on here, or people know how to use it? That's fine. If they don't just
Yeah,
use it at all.
It's a good question. I mean, I know how to use it, but there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that actually think you need a QR code scanner, and there's an app, but you just use your camera and it'll scan it and bring you to the website or bring you to where it needs to go. But I don't think it would be bad, you know, that says, open your phone, you know, focus over the QR code and click the link.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can definitely put like use camera phone to click on link through screen. Something quick and informal, definitely.
Okay, perfect.
Sometimes you can even integrate that into the block. You know, sometimes you can put like a brand or whatever in the block, but maybe you put the instruction in there so it doesn't get lost in this letter.
And I wasn't sure if the local news outlet would print the QR code or not, but that's great if they will.
Okay.
For so the paper copies, you say town hall. I wonder if we should be more specific about where the town hall. I don't want people wandering around saying where are the surveys.
Oh, right, yeah, good point.
So maybe in the selectman's office, because Michelle's there full-time.
So can be
Anybody
found at the
else have a thought?
selectmen's, I think
Yeah,
it's a
why
good.
wouldn't we just have them, so they've gotta go all the way upstairs, why wouldn't we just have them right at the door? When they
Okay.
come in, right? There's
Okay.
a little,
Yeah.
whatever you can mount to the wall and have them in there.
That's even better, yeah.
Good thought.
So that would be at the front entrance
Yeah,
Yeah,
to the town hall?
yeah.
yeah, it can be found in the town hall's front entrance lobby.
When the
Yeah.
town hall is locked, are both those doors locked, or is that, can you get into that vestibule?
The police door, I think, is always open.
Yeah, the police, but the other one, those are both locked, right? When
Yes.
it's locked, okay.
Yes.
I was gonna say, if you put it like right in the vestibule, even when it's after hours, they could open that,
Mhm.
but it sounds like that's not possible.
I don't think so. I mean, it's probably locked,
Okay.
open most nights until like,
Yeah.
as long as town hall
I
is
just
open.
think we need to make it as easily as accessible as possible.
Okay, no, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
I think that's a great point.
to do a mailer.
Excuse me?
A mailer, Ricky had mentioned that is it too much to do a mailer as well? I think we did a mailer at one point, didn't we? A survey a number of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it something on the website? I forget, but it was just, I think we did something of that sort, but
I don't know who
but
would send a mailer to everyone in town. I mean,
that could be a little, and you know, the thing is, I
we don't
mean,
have a budget.
we don't have a
I was
budget.
just thinking that, where's the money for that one?
Which
A
is,
lot of cost to that.
yeah, great idea. I mean, I think that,
Coming from a Gen Wire, that's good.
but, yeah, it's, as far as I know, we do not have a budget, here, so. The only other thing is if Bill's name is gonna be at the top, at the contacts up there, you know, and if my name's still included, that's great, but just where it says sincerely, you know, it could be mine, but I think it should coincide with whoever the contacts are up top. Or however, I mean, if my name can be on it, I have no problem.
Yeah, actually, I like having your name on it.
Okay.
You know, as chairman of the committee, I think it's
Okay,
that's appropriate.
sounds good.
Yeah, and Bill's gonna have an email address up top, so they wouldn't be able to contact you anyway, Todd,
Okay,
unless
that's,
they need a loan.
okay, perfect, yeah, we'll see. Don't wanna give a shameless plug for the bank, but.
And
Awesome.
then on the flyer for the survey, it lists other locations as well, such as town hall, the library, I think maybe town clerk, library, senior center maybe. When we get to that one, we can double check if we wanna, town hall, the library, senior center, and local businesses.
Gotcha.
And this is the abbreviated version of the full flyer that we'll post, because we'll have this one cut so that people can just take it with them. I mean, they could scan the code or just take the paper with them. It's just a basic introduction to what we're doing, and asking people to participate in the survey.
Yeah, I think it looks great. Anybody
Yeah,
else have comments?
Very good.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, thank you, Jane. I think this looks
You're
amazing.
welcome. How about the flyer, Victoria? It has just a little bit more information than the handout. I kind of wanted to include a picture. I didn't have any yet. I used a Google Street View picture. I don't know if that's appropriate or not, you know, with the copyrights and all. I can take it down, or, you know, if you have a nicer picture of Main Street, we can include that.
I can look, Jane, I'm not sure if I do, but I'll check.
Okay. It's funny, all the Google Street Views looking east had much nicer clouds. So this one has just a little bit more information than the other one, and it has the map on it all. Well, the other one had the map, just not the picture. And if you want, we can expand the text to explain how to use the QR code also.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good, very to the point summary of what we're trying to do, who's involved, and, you know, what we're asking, you know, people to, you know, we need their input, so I think it's kind of short and sweet. Doesn't seem too busy, you know, like in regards to, you know, stuff on it, so.
Tried to break it up so it wasn't just a block of text.
Yeah.
All right. If there are no more questions about the survey and press release, we can go on to the list of placemaking ideas.
Just a quick question on the abbreviated flyer. Should we include Bill's contact information on there as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha, good point.
Jane, should there be a cutoff date on the flyer for when, you know, we won't be taking any more surveys?
You know, sometimes, you know, we can do that if you want to give it, say, 2 months, or do you think that's too long? I've seen some towns where, and I know we're not doing this, but they decided to send a flyer with their utility bills, the water bills. So it did go to everyone, and they had initially set a end date, and then there was a problem with the mailing, and people got the stuff late. So a lot of the comments were, well, I'm receiving this after the due date.
You know what that,
But if we're not mailing, that should not be an issue. Sometimes we wait to see, you know, if the people responding, if it's just dying off, or if people are continuing to respond, we might keep it open longer. So I will defer to you if you want to put an end date on it, or wait and see what happens.
I mean,
I think it's good to have a date, you know, otherwise.
a
people
deadline,
can,
yeah.
you know, wait forever and then
Sure.
forget about it, but.
Yeah, I would think so too. And actually, you just brought something up which kind of brings us back to what Ricky had mentioned about a mailer. You know, if we were to put this in with an outgoing bill, you know, whether it's, you know,
Excise, real estate,
Yeah.
and water.
yeah, I mean, you know, I know I'm not always in the best mood when I open that one myself, and then it'd be like, oh, now a survey? Okay, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion, but I guess, but you know what I mean? But if it's gonna, you know, would one of the other town departments be okay with us just like putting it as an insert?
Well, what do you get, $1 off your water bill if you fill out the survey?
God, you're on the committee, Mark. I see, I don't think of stuff like that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a question you have to run by a department.
Sure.
Right.
Because that's the additional work for them.
Right.
To put it in, and then it changes the weight to make sure what's going out. that
True.
Postage doesn't become an issue, but I think playing on as many senses to get information to people is the way we have to go.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be this whole survey. We can send one of these in, and that's not gonna change the weight of the bill. And it would force them to scan it as opposed to getting this and not having to print it and write it out and drop it off. But-
Right, that's true.
So there's a lot of different ways to think about it.
And there is another town I worked with where there was actually an extra fee for adding an insert to the bill. And I think that's because the town uses a printer to publish everything and send it out. So that was extra printing for them and labor to add an extra sheet. I think several $100s more.
Okay. I mean, I guess it just wouldn't hurt to ask. I mean, we would be thinking like water bill. I mean, everybody's still, you know, real estate tax bill. You know, ones that maybe just ask. I don't know, like if we would have to go to each department and ask.
The tax bill would have gone out already.
Yep.
I was gonna say, and I think it includes the first and second quarter, or
Okay.
whatever,
Okay.
I think. I'm not
I
positive.
think you
So
might
it
be
might be
right, yeah.
like 6 months until the next real estate tax bill
Okay.
comes out.
Okay.
Okay, so better, you know, the
I don't
water.
know about water. That, you know, that only goes to people that are on the water system.
True. Yeah. Interesting. All right, maybe we can think about that if there's any other.
But if there's an excise bill going out, maybe we could
True.
piggyback onto that.
Okay. And who would we contact to see if that's even an option?
I'll check with the collector.
Collector?
Okay. And is there a preferred publication you'd like the press release to go to?
I think the Smart Shopper is a good one,
Yep, I agree.
and then the Webster Times, right? So that's probably blankets most of Dudley, or it may even be a duplicate there, but
The Yankee Express?
That's another good
Yankee
one.
Express is, yeah, possible. That's very sporadic, but the Smart Shoppers weekly, and you can focus on just certain communities. It may include Webster, but you can do, I think Webster, Dudley is one segment, so you don't have to, you don't have to send it everywhere.
Hmm.
I don't know about the others.
And also, I mean, this could be, and I think that's great, Smart Shopper, I mean, Webster Times, we can see about the Yankee Express, but also, on our website, I'm trying to think social media as well.
Yeah, we can touch base with Deb LaPlaca.
Yep. She said that she would be more than happy to
Yeah.
assist us in getting the word out. Maybe she can think of something else that we're not, like you had said, Joanne, the more that we
Absolutely.
can get it
Yeah.
out,
About schools getting it, I think that was brought up before, notice in the kid's backpack type of thing or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's an option or if they
Well, we had talked last time, and I know that Robin is away, I guess, this week.
Yep.
But she had thought that maybe the senior students at the high school might be good to survey. We might tweak a survey a little bit. Victoria had a really good idea about a question for the students, and it was something to the effect of, what 3 words do you think of when you think of Dudley? Or kind of just something a little open-ended to see where they're coming from and what they view in the town. So,
Right.
and if you want to try to find out things that would encourage the kids to come back here after college, it might be good to see what they're thinking of.
I think that's great.
But that wouldn't stop this survey from going out. This would go forward, but we could also work on one for the student.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. I think the thing is, in regards to getting, the folks who are actually, either homeowners or whether they're renting, the parents, the whole idea of like the younger schools. Because, I remember when my kids were little, that was the first thing, you check their folder when they came back, putting it in their backpack, as long as, if you could get, whether it was Mason Road, Dudley L, Dudley Middle School, that was a real captive audience there. I mean, not that yes, I was guilty from many times of not reading the stuff that came back in the folder, but for the most of the time, that's an audience that would just be like, okay, and,
Well, the middle school and high school are regional schools, so we don't need this to go to Charlton students.
oh, true,
So I don't know
yeah,
how we focus on
true.
Dudley students.
right.
Yeah. I don't know, that
Good
might
point.
they might be easily able to separate that. Never know.
Yeah,
Also, the recycling center, or is it recycling, the dump?
yep.
I know a lot of politicians stand down there, so obviously there's some decent traffic on a Saturday. Maybe we have some of these there, maybe we have this posted somewhere where someone can just scan it.
That's,
Just
yeah.
before they get ready to dump a bag, they can take a snapshot, I don't know.
Good
Yeah, I think
idea.
we've got to pull out all the stops if we really want to get this out.
And to get it, to get it so where we have, like, say, oh, we had this many responses and not just
Right.
2,
Yeah.
No, I'm not really sure how it would be effectively executed, but if we wanted broader perspectives from people who have seen different things, I know there's a big mixed bag at Nichols. You get people from other countries, other communities who have seen different ways of living. So I don't know, maybe they'd have more idea generation, but I don't know what the response would be like.
Is there a place at Nichols where we could put this?
We could throw flyers up on the entrance doors with a QR code. I'm sure they'd have
Okay.
no issue with that.
Okay.
Yeah, good idea. I like the student center. Is it the Fell Student Center?
Yeah, we can do Fells, and then new academic building in Davis have most of the classes, so you can't really miss it.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, maybe, I mean, again, to your point, Mark, just, and Joanne, just, hit as much as we can.
Well, one of the other things I think that's right under our nose is if each board would put it on their agenda to do an announcement that this is out there, that we're looking to retrieve this information, and if they would also, even if they can put it on their website, it's repetition for people to be on the lookout for it and to pay attention. That's what we're trying to do, is to get a response.
Great idea. It didn't even, when you think of something that's right, like you said, right in front of us, I mean, if they could put it on the agenda, mention it, and do all of those things. So, I think we've covered a little bit of ground here in regards to different ways that we can get this out there, and,
Definitely.
okay.
Alrighty. We'll be ready to move on.
Yep.
All right, can we go with the placemaking file? So some of these are physical improvements. Some of them are more programming activities. And I think it's always good to have some kind of activity program to bring people to the area. One thing that would not really cost much of anything is to have a chalk it up kind of festival. If there's a place where people can come and do sidewalk art with their chalk. And if there are places for them to park, you could even invite food trucks to come. There could be prizes if you're awarding prizes for the best designs for each age group. Another idea was, I know that this area is part of the last Green Valley. I didn't know if any of the rangers would be interested in doing some type of a historical or nature walk, either by the river or looking at the history of the area. We could, over by the bench, by the French River Bridge, the Lonely Bench, we could do a portable plotted landscape display in the springtime. And then you'll see some pictures of some of these things, but over on the midterm, we're looking at murals on buildings, but a short-term one could be, a lot of cities are now painting butterfly wing murals, which are smaller murals that people can stand in front of, and it's a little photo op opportunity, and it would help to kind of beautify the area too. So midterm, we're looking at the gateway monuments, or however they turn out to be design-wise. As I mentioned, the murals, we'll be working on any necessary bylaw updates to accommodate any uses that this committee might identify as you're wanting to have in the gateway area, but might not currently be allowed for zoning. And then long-term, we're looking at things like the storefronts or the facade improvement, the design guidelines, well, the guidelines could be done ahead of time, but this long-term would be the actual physical improvements to the storefronts. Streetscape improvements, possibly some street art, or even a Christmas light display that people come to. And that could also start off as a shorter term one with just a little bit of Christmas lighting, and then maybe medium term you add some, and by the time that you're into doing all the other improvements, you may have the area to do a bigger display that will bring people into town. But these are just ideas that we wanted to start with. Maybe Victoria could show the pictures of some of these, just examples, and then we could get back to brainstorming what type of placemaking things would work for or desire for Dudley. So this particular Chalk It Up Festival, people could sign up, it's free, they have awards for who has the best one. It'd be nice if you have a spot where you don't have to close the street down to do it, but they bring food trucks in too, and it becomes a big community event.
Yeah, maybe the high school you could do it at,
That's the first place I thought of.
and they've got, looks like it's sectioned off, so you could do it right in the parking lot lines,
Oh, right.
I mean, that could also be something we can team up with the high school, because I remember in high school we did a painting of your parking spot as a senior.
Hmm.
And that's something we can bring in parents or other people to like judge of which one did the best.
Yeah.
Shepherd Hill's pretty good at getting the word out on stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I know there was an art show at Nichols and an art show at Shepherd Hill, on the same day, and nobody showed up to Nichols, but Shepherd Hill was packed. food trucks, the two floors were filled with tables and stuff, so.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, because that was my first question, where could we have it? And I think the high school, I mean, I don't think there's enough room here at the town hall, even in the parking lot out back. Because then you'd want like parking, and I think Shepherd Hill's got the most parking as well, if people were to come, like
Yeah.
an event, food trucks.
They could park in one section because you need the asphalt to do the drawing, right? So you need two big sections, one for parking, one for
Mhm.
drawing, so Shepherd Hill makes the most sense in my opinion, but
Yeah, I think that's, can anybody think of another location besides Shepherd Hill that might make sense?
Good.
You had mentioned the historic.
Dudley Plaza, maybe, that's also a big parking lot.
Dudley Plaza, right? Down with like Park and Shop, Whiskey Rocks, a couple of the dollar
Okay.
stores.
That has the advantage of people going there for, shopping, so
Mm.
they get there, whereas they might not come to town hall.
Right.
I don't know, just a thought.
No, that is, I mean, it's just, we would have to, I'm sure, get the okay from whoever, owns that.
Right.
Right? To see if they'd be interested, and maybe just, I mean, hopefully that would also spark, it doesn't make the most sense in regards to being able to control the flow of traffic in and out of there as well, if people were shopping, going to the bank, and all those other, places right there, but I think that's a potential. On the second bullet, Jane, you mentioned historical nature walk. Now,
Yes.
and you had mentioned about rangers, and I just don't know this, but I know we have like the rail trail. Are there actual like park rangers that do similar things like that, tours, as
Well,
she had asked?
Jane mentioned the last Green Valley, they have
Yes.
rangers that do
Okay.
walks. I don't know whether they have a Dudley walk.
I don't think they have one established yet, and I don't know if they're all out in nature or if any of them are in villages, but I just thought it might be something good to look into, because not only would it bring people there, but one of the thoughts that I had as far as trying to come up with an image or an identity for Dudley had to do with its presence in the last Green Valley. Like, do you want to build on that? I know we want economic development, we want to focus on the history, there's the agricultural heritage, but you're also in this very unique landscape that has not been overly developed, which really stands out on the satellite images at night. Just a thought, but we kind of put those ideas there just as conversation starters, because just to start brainstorming ideas for what we could do as far as both physical improvements and activities.
Yeah. No, I think, and I even think the butterfly wing mural photo op, I mean, in regards to getting people out and about, if there was a location where we could do that, I can't really think off the top of my head, but I mean, yeah, anything to get people to go to a certain area, if there's activity, if there's a reason for folks to get there, I think we may have even talked about, can we do like things like that, farmers markets, it could be a craft fair, it could be anything that's gonna bring people out there, to a certain location. I think that would be pretty cool. And then if it's just there, the whole idea of the mural is that you don't even necessarily need to have something going on. People would just wanna, walk around, it's beautiful, and then, do photo ops and things like that. So I think they're all great ideas.
You might even have art classes in the school that might want to do the painting, if we have the location.
Okay.
Is there an active art community here in town?
I don't know.
active what?
Art
Art?
community?
Oh,
Are there artists that, have studios or
You know who
shows?
would know? I would imagine maybe Ellen. Ellen might have an idea. I think she had mentioned something that at one of our meetings in the past. But that's a great question. I'm not really too sure.
I think we do have.
So I spoke to somebody with the Arts and Cultural Council, and she said that they do get funding through the state or the statewide Arts and Cultural Council. And sadly, most of the people who apply for the funding are not in Dudley. So I just, would have thought there would have been more craftsmen and types. But, it doesn't have to be just a physical thing that someone's making. Some of it is doing like musical performances or theatrical performance, anything that can be related to arts or culture. And then, but that person in the arts and cultural committee can probably steer us towards people who are able to do it.
Okay.
Let me see. Before I leave that, sometimes I've seen where there are design competitions, and usually, like, the prize is you get to do painting for a minimal amount of money. But that could create buzz too, is if you have some kind of competition.
Okay.
And then lastly on our photos is just a couple of examples of tactical urbanism, just little temporary portable landscapes brought in. One of them looks like it's in the parking area. Another one is on the sidewalk, just brought in some potted trees and made some makeshift benches with boards and artificial turf. I was hoping I could find some that might, work better in that area around the bench, but perhaps we could find even more areas to do that and work with horticultural students or someone to help with that. Be great if we could find a lot of volunteer labor, maybe Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts needing to do projects.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on little portable landscape area? Creating parklets.
Yeah. I mean, I think we had mentioned that area down, by the French River Bridge, I mean, obviously needs some work, and if that's something that, just to beautify it, I think that goes a long way. I think we mentioned, nearby towns, Oxford comes to mind in regards to the beautification with the, flowers and the landscaping that's just been done in different areas of the town that even just a short time ago, it just, didn't look so desirable, and now you drive through and it's like, wow, okay, that really looks great. So I think,
Those were mostly
all the-
grants, from what I understand.
yeah, grants, right?
Yeah,
So,
including the waterers.
including the upkeep of them, right?
And the pedestrian crossings are pretty impressive there too.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few of those.
Yeah, that's a mixed.
Yeah, yeah, that's from what,
That's a mixed excitement.
yeah,
Okay, maybe too much?
Yeah,
maybe a little.
yeah, it's like a plowing nightmare, and I think every one of them has been hit 2 or 3 times, but
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
I don't know whether
Wow.
that's, good or bad, but.
right,
Mhm.
it's true.
So we were hoping to get more ideas from you on what you would like to see for some of these. And while you're thinking, the Christmas light display is just, people flock to things like that. I know of a Bible college that has like millions of lights up and people come from all over. There's even somebody nearby with a helicopter who will give helicopter tours of the lights. So, I mean, it is a traffic issue, but it can be something that can bring people to the area.
Yeah, no, I know that right now they have, here at the town hall, there's the annual tree lighting that takes place.
Oh.
They usually try to have and then, in conjunction with, I believe, the, Dudley Fire Department, they've got Santa and I believe the Grinch that takes, and they advertise the route, or the route rather, that they take, and, kids can come out in different, they try to hit all the neighborhoods, and I think that's pretty great. And I remember even when my kids were little, the tree lighting, it's not a huge tree outside, but they had quite the turnout. They had Santa Claus here and stuff like that, and I think it was when they came back, maybe, I'm not sure, but, I know that's already something that takes place. I didn't know if this, if this would also maybe involve, like, being able to get funding to, further decorate the town in regards regards to like whether, it's, during the holiday season, whether it's the, posts where they have the great, tributes to the veterans in town, things to decorate, so when people come in and to light things up. So yeah, during the holidays, people like say, hey, let's drive through Dudley. It's real pretty to drive through there during that time. I don't know if that's something that can be also included. But yeah, there's,
Yeah, I think they have the Christmas parade, don't they, with the fire trucks and
They do,
police?
yeah.
So that could kind of piggyback on that. They throw candy from the, for the kids.
From the
and
fire trucks,
People
yeah.
line up, yeah. So I think if you can incorporate something with that. Also, Webster's done through the Business Alliance, has done a shop hop, like restaurant shop hop or regular, and a lot of local businesses have created that. So maybe we could kind of create the idea and get a couple businesses to spearhead it and make it happen.
I was just also talking with somebody who doesn't live anywhere near here, but a small town, well, actually not really that small, but out near the Newburyport area. And what they do is that the town has a annual thing, and it was started by a local business owner, where in regards to what to do with the Christmas trees after, the real Christmas trees after the holiday. And there was it was basically a big bonfire where they would also invite, local, businesses, food trucks and all sorts of other different activities. And all you would need to do is pay, make a donation if you wanted, $20 or whatever it is. And then they take the tree, they toss it on there, and it's like a big bonfire kind of a celebration. I don't know if that would be something, shortly there after the holidays. Obviously it would be like, where would it be done? Is there something like that? But I don't know, it just seems like we have a lot of ideas. I don't know if anybody, besides all these great ideas that, Jane, you guys had brought up, can anybody think of anything? I know it's kind of, in regards to the brainstorming, some things that we may not have thought about. I mean, I think if we can just get the funding, get the word out, and just do it
So we
step
have
by
the
step.
Strawberry Festival, right? And then we have the,
Apple.
that's at the
Apple.
Black Tavern, and then the Apple, and they have frog jumping contests there, and so I think there's a lot of things that, happen, and that's probably one of the best attended, based on the, depending on the weather, but one of the better attended events. I know the Women's Club have a table there and a variety of others, but, maybe Economic Development can have one, and we can, whatever, just, I think that there's a lot of things happening. If we can piggyback on some of them, then we don't have to reinvent the wheel, so to speak.
Okay.
Well, I think the other part, and you brought up the Arts Council, I think that's not a bad one to try and coordinate a few things with. And even like you're saying, some of those events, it would be kind of interesting even to have a photography thing about entering about pictures of Dudley that people take of photos. There are like so many beautiful winter photographs people take or summer. I think it's baby steps, and I think it's not being a one-man show. It's that we've got to contact maybe an art department at Shepherd Hill, see if we can talk to somebody, the Arts Council, a few different things, the Grange. I mean, I watched a program the other night, and it's the second time they've run it, I think it's Wyndham, about these frogs, where the town had an issue where all these frogs were croaking, and suddenly there were all these dead frogs in town. Well, that town capitalized. They have poles with frogs on them that's drawn tourists to it. It was, again, they ran it on Chronicle, and it was like pretty funny to watch and pretty interesting how it drew people to the town. But they incorporated it into their town of these different things, and it was all about these frogs that were involved that started it. So I think they've given us some great ideas, but I think we're not an entity that can do it all. I think we've got to filter it out. And even, I'd be willing to give $100 bond, something like that, for a photography thing for people to enter and get something. I think those of us who are in business are willing to support the community and give some money to bring people to a few events, whether it's the butterflies, again, and give something that gives people a little incentive, or young people an incentive to get involved. But I think we need a letter to go out and contact a few of these people. I'm not a photographer, I'm not an artist, but there are people out there that could contribute and bring those people to us to participate.
What about at Nichols? Is there an art department or a group there that could spearhead something like that?
I'm not familiar with any art department there, but I don't know, maybe some of the marketing classes might be able to get behind it and help put the word out. Because they have to do a lot of projects, and sometimes coordinating with other entities or the town
Right.
helps them kind of get more credit for it.
Yeah, I know Professor Russo, he was a great resource for the video. I know his position changed, but
I think Len Harmon is in charge of marketing there.
maybe we reach out, to them and propose some of these ideas and see where that goes. Maybe that's something that,
I'd like to reinforce the idea of reaching out to local scout troops, because especially with the Eagle projects, they'll do their own fundraising for that. So, they'll see they have an opportunity to do a project, it's gonna help out the town, then they're gonna advertise around the town and get support from, friends and family, and the scouts get support, they always do,
That's a great point. Yeah. Again, there's so many great ideas, and I hear what Joanne's saying, is that we're not able to do that all ourselves in our little committee. We need to reach out for help. Like, to echo what Mark also said, instead of reinventing the wheel, whether it's the Scouts, whether it's the Strawberry Festival, the Apple Festival. Strawberry Festival does kind of jump out because that's been going on for decades. And, whether it's the, Dudley Grange, places that are already doing things, if we could kind of, reach out for their guidance, and maybe also see if there's any way that we can just jump on board with them, at least to, to try to get what we're accomplishing and be part of something that's already got well run,
Well, the other thing I thought was interesting, I don't know how many of you have driven by the sign, and the other day, I finally noticed, it says Discover Dudley. I don't know how many times I've driven by, I've never noticed it said Discover Dudley. What a great theme for some of these things to kind of work into, if we want to try them. Because that's what we're asking people to do, Discover Dudley. But how long has that been on the sign that I never noticed?
Is that the new sign on the way to Charlton?
It's right in front of our building here. It says Discover Dudley.
Right, huh. Yeah, I haven't noticed that either.
I'm telling you, when you go out now, look at it, and I had to smile to myself, saying, what, am I oblivious that I never saw this?
Right. Well, and we actually come here at least once a month. Imagine the folks that just drive by like I usually do and not even realize it as well. But yeah, maybe it is. It's, kind of jump on that whole same theme.
Sure, tie it into the photography, to the chalk thing, to a lot of different events. And again, involve, community is what it's about. I think if you ask for help, you get help. If you try and be a one-man show, you stay a one-man show and never move forward. I know that Mark has been active with the Business Alliance, the Chamber. Those are our resources for us to try and get information out to, and maybe help bring some of these things to light that we're looking at.
Awesome.
And I think the story of the frogs is out of Willimantic, Connecticut. They do have a bridge there.
Yes.
They're known for their textile industry, their spools of thread, like sculptures of spools with frogs on top of them.
yeah, I think
And-
you guys showed that. I think you showed a
did,
picture of it.
and-
I think you did, yeah.
And so I don't know about, eventually getting funding for the bridge repair, or I don't know if it will be a new bridge, but I think it'd be great to add something creative to the bridge, whatever theme this committee ends up deciding to favor.
Okay. All right. Anybody, anything
No, I
else to
think
add?
that you gave us a ton of things in a plan. I love that it's divided into sections for an immediate, a moderate term, long term. I think these are great ideas, and we have to start with our survey, I think, and get ourselves going, and maybe be talking I'll talk to a few business owners too about ponying up a little bit of money to try one of these events. And people participate. Sometimes they're doing it a little bit for the recognition and appreciation of that kind of art that they do, which would be nice. It's not about big money, it's about getting noticed and having their work noticed.
Right? And give them the credit on the advertisement for the event.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, but thank you very much, Jane.
You're welcome.
Jane, one other
That's all
thing.
we have.
Jane,
Yeah.
on the streetscape improvements, I'm wondering if you could,
Yes.
talk to some of your transportation staff people and present some examples regionally of towns that have done streetscape projects, and just sort of give some ideas of how we might do benches and planters and overhead lighting,
Sure.
things of that sort, and,
Definite.
okay.
And I was about to reach out to our GIS guy to get a base map ready for me, so we can start sketching out what that might look like.
Okay.
But yeah, I can definitely do that. I was walking through, in addition to Oxford, I don't know if it was Hopkinton or Ashland, but they also had done some streetscape improvements with some crosswalks. Not as many crosswalks as Oxford, but definitely stood out. I'll have to check to see which one that was. Not in our region, but close by.
Okay. Awesome.
Very good.
All right.
All righty.
Well, Jane, thank you again. I can't thank you enough. It's obviously a lot of work that's already been put into this, and the committee, on behalf of the committee, we thank you and we look forward to continuing this. And as Joanne had mentioned, I think the first step is this, is the survey, and then we get working from there. But and you're more than welcome
Very
to
good.
hang out for the remainder of the meeting. If not, hopefully you don't have to drive anywhere today, because it's a little bit dicey out there.
Yeah, no, I'm staying put, doing everything remote.
Awesome. All right,
I'm
thank you.
thankful for the opportunity. You're welcome.
Great, thank
Take
you
care,
very
love.
much.
Thanks for having us. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. All right, next up, I know where are we right now? We're at about 11:23. Next up on the agenda is town planner update. Bill?
Just a couple of quick items. The planning board met with Board of Selectmen earlier this month to talk about the short-term rental bylaw. I believe I had mentioned that to this committee previously. In fact, Jane, who we were just talking with, had done a regional short-term rental project, and I presented some information at that meeting about how a town might go about regulating that use. They've developed two model bylaws, a general bylaw and a zoning bylaw. And the selectmen referred that to the planning board for further discussion and action. So the planning board, I think, will be taking that up and developing a bylaw to present to town meeting to regulate short-term rentals. I know there are at least 6 in town that are registered with the state. And the intent of the bylaw would be to make sure that all the properties are up to code, the inspections done by town departments, et cetera, so that people who want to rent an Airbnb or VRBO would have confidence that it's up to code and meets certain standards.
Gotcha. Okay.
There, at the selectmen's meeting on Monday night, there will be a presentation by Ty and Bond, who has worked on a traffic improvement plan for the Airport Road, Dudley Hill Road intersection.
Okay.
So if you're interested, please attend, or at least have it, watch the meeting afterwards. They've done a terrific job in terms of trying to make that intersection safer. The thought would be to have tenured road when it comes down from the college terminate in a cul-de-sac, so no longer intersect at that intersection. And then the remaining alignments would be restructured so that they come in at right angles, narrow the opening to the golf course driveway, add crosswalks. There would be a narrowing of the pavement there, so there'd be some new green space that would be added.
Interesting.
So it's a really, I think, viable plan for that whole intersection. And then eventually the thought would be to do another phase, which would add sidewalks down into West Main Street by the Dudley Plaza, down Airport Road. So just thought I'd mention that in case anybody listening to this meeting
Yeah.
would like to attend.
I would imagine that that would get enough, that a number of people would be in attendance to Monday night's meeting, if
We've been
that's on
working
the
with-
agenda.
We've been working with Nichols College on that. The administration is supportive of this plan. We found that there are a number of students now, because of the pub at the golf course, students are walking down there more often, and at night in particular, you know, it can be unsafe. So this is a way to sort of improve the access for students, as well as making the intersection safer for travel.
I do have one question about that. On a day like today, how might the residents of that street feel about only being able to go up it?
This is a chance for them to come and tell us what they think.
Good question, though.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, we'd like to get their support for this. It probably makes the street safer because there's less traffic.
We're talking
People
about
aren't-
Tanyard?
Tanyard.
Tanyard.
People aren't cutting up Tanyard or would be cutting up Tanyard anymore. So it'd just be local traffic. So it might be a benefit to them.
And are there, I mean, and this will probably all be, and I won't dive into this, because that's something to be saved for the selectmen's meeting on Monday night, but like, out of the property owners on that street, I mean, how many are we talking about? Does Nichols own any of the property there? You know, things like that, you know, because, I mean, I know I wouldn't want to be driving up that street on a day like today, but, you know, it'd be very, yeah, but it would be interesting.
I know letters have gone out to each of those owners of
Residents.
Tanyard about this meeting, so they'll be informed of it.
Interesting.
We'd certainly like their input into the plan.
Yeah.
It would be kind of interesting to see where you're gonna turn around. It's a cul-de-sac, the only land owned is the college field.
Well, no, it's in the current alignment.
Really?
So you've got that multifamily that's
On that
right on the corner
There's
there.
a multifamily and then there's
Or is it
land
like
by
an
the
apartment?
college, but then there's housing all the way up the hill.
Right.
Fire truck
So-
has to be able to turn around.
Right.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
there'll be a sketch, you know,
Yeah,
presented
yeah,
at the
well, I'll be
meeting.
anxious to see it,
Yeah,
because
so-
that's an
Yeah.
intersection I go through quite frequently, getting to that golf course,
I think
so.
we'd all
Big
do.
tree there, or there's a couple of big trees, they'd probably take those down, and it'd probably breach into the ball field a little bit, or where the ball field is.
Yeah, that seems to be a decent amount of land there. And to your, I think to everybody's point, I mean, I've been living in Dudley 14 and a half years, and just, even just having, when my youngest daughter is a relatively new driver, you know, that's like 4 ways, and you're kind of like trying to explain, okay, just good luck. You know, just, it's one of those,
Right.
it's not as bad as the old Kelly Square used to be, but it's, it can be challenging. So it'd be interesting to see and see exactly what the, you know, the improvements would be, and see what the reaction is, you know, awesome.
And then the last thing I would mention is that Ellen and Mark were reappointed by the planning board at their last meeting to continue as EDC members. You know, I worked out sort of the termination dates
Right.
for all of the members, so we did the 2 planning board members. Their term will expire in 2025, June 30, 2025, I think. And then we have the terms of the other members who are all appointed by the Board of Selectmen determined. So some will expire this year in June. You'd have to be reappointed, and the Selectmen will take care of that. So if you don't want to be reappointed, let us know, but otherwise, it would probably go forward. And then Ricky, you're up for appointment as the associate member,
I think that's on the 22nd.
22nd, okay, good.
On the 22nd, okay.
And that's, I think, for a 1-year
Yep.
term.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and, okay, Ricky's gonna be on the 22nd, selectmen meeting.
Check my calendar, make sure.
Just wanna make sure that we have, I think Robin said that she would be there, and I'd like to be there too, just to support. Awesome.
Yep.
All right, great, thanks, Bill, really appreciate it.
So I have a question, Bill, well, maybe it'll fall under open discussion,
Please.
sorry.
No, go right ahead.
So, years ago, I was on the master plan committee, and we put together a master plan for the town. And we used CMRPC for some things, but we didn't have enough funding to use them. I see CMRPC as a huge asset, but a big, big part of many committees that are using them now. Are we still, do we still log hours with them, or, I mean, all this work that they've done for us, are we paying for this, or how does that work? I mean,
Right. So the
Great
Gateway
question.
Plan is a state-funded grant. It was
right.
75,000, I think.
Okay.
And so a lot of it has been done through state grants. The corridor studies, I believe, were done through the district local technical assistance program, where communities can apply for planning studies. They get state money, which they have a competitive program where communities can request funding for different projects. So a lot of that work has been funded through them. The CMRPC is wrapping up the open space and recreation plan, which the town paid for, $14,000 contract with the town.
Not grant, it was
It was town funded. And the planning board donated 2 years of their planning hours to help lower the cost of that.
that they had accumulated.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So,
So it's the planning board that only accumulates hours?
yes.
Okay.
So each town gets a minimum of 12 hours, and then any time somebody from a community attends one of their events, there's an additional hour, up to 24. And so the town has had a lot of good attendance at those
Yeah.
meetings, so we've gotten all those hours that are possible.
Right. Now, this gateway, just for instance, it's not a set number of hours, it's a project, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I was gonna say, we've had them go back and, recalibrate, which has probably taken hours of their time, or charged us hours, or charged towards the project hours for this questionnaire. And, if there was a way for us to save, some hours by doing some of these things ourselves, it'd be good to know. Not that any of us might have time to do that, but it certainly is good to know. But it sounds like the grant covers, we could have them do this 50 times, and it wouldn't matter, it's part of the project. So, okay,
Got it.
all right, yeah.
Great
Great.
question.
Yeah.
All right, we're we're in the open discussion part of the meeting right now. I'm just gonna open it up. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to discuss and bring to the committee's attention? No? All right, that being said, then I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All in favor? Next, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. All right, so the Town of Dudley Economic Development Committee meeting, January 16th, 2024, is now completed. It's 11:34. Thanks, everybody.